Okay, there we are. This is James Maduke speaking. Welcome to another Campus Builders Ask Me Anything, Teach Online, all about membership sites and online communities, and of course, creating, selling, and marketing your online courses. I just want to make sure we got some sound here on the other side. Perfect. That's turned off. We're all hidden. In terms of sound, I just know it's running and I know I have the sound. I did one live webcast a while ago and it was a great one, except I had my microphone on mute and I couldn't tell until after it was recorded and after it was done. So now I always double check. I got another screen next to me here. Just got another feed running just so that I make sure that there's actual sound coming out, and I think there is today. So that's good stuff. What are we going to cover today? Well, the first thing is again, these are Ask Me Anythings, and you are welcome to ask some questions if you happen to be live here in the chat. If not, put it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you haven't done it already, please make sure to visit teachonline.io and go join the community. It's free to join. We got all sorts of great stuff in there, including a bunch of free courses and groups, stuff that you can be involved in. If you're interested in starting, building, and growing an education business, creating online courses, membership sites, communities, all of that stuff, that's what we focus on. Not only setting up the campuses, but creating and marketing your courses. So we've got a whole complete set of tools. And if you want to be a campus builder, build your own education business, that's definitely the place to go. So if you haven't seen this before, this is my name is James, and been at this a while. Started online in 96 was my first domain, so been full-time since 2001, I think. So I got a lot of experience in this, and especially in courses. And today I want to talk about something that's changed, not changed a little bit, but it's a little bit of a different flavor or take on what we normally do. And it's a project that I've been working on that is not necessarily about creating courses yet. But the thing that's interesting, at least for me on this, is that there's no overt selling. I talked about monetizing it in the past. I talked about, I think there was 12 or 13 ways I looked at monetizing. The site is set up, but I haven't really mentioned it. The mobile app is going to be available at the end of this week. So you'll be able to go to the Play Store or the App Store, and you'll be able to download it onto your phone. Now, what is this app about and why did I put it in? That's what we're going to cover today. So here's the thing. My Pickleball project is the project that I've been working on. And if you haven't seen that before, that whole thing with the Pickleball project is all about a community for pickleball players. And we'll just open that site up right now so that you can see it. And we'll open up the site. So we've got this site, Pickleball Players. It's all of this great stuff for people who are wanting to. Let's make sure we're in the right site here. So I'm gonna go make sure to go My Pickleball Friends. There we go. We're going to go to My Pickleball Friends. The reason I created this site was big fan of pickleball. More importantly, fastest growing sport in North America. And there wasn't really a site that was dedicated to building out friendships for pickleball. And in fact, there wasn't anything in terms of apps. I downloaded a number of apps, actually a ton of apps that didn't really cover the networking between players and clubs. So that's what I wanted to build out. And the other thing that I noticed was that in as much as I'm a big fan of having a website, we're using here, we've got a stack of tools. This is all built on WordPress. One of the things that I recognized is that the majority of people who I am targeting are going to be with their phone or using their phone, playing or surfing when they're going to consume or network with these other people. So I set the entire site up with WordPress. It's posted on WordPress. We've got the theme and the plugin called Buddy Boss, which is for building communities. Makes it look great. But the other thing that we've done is we've also got installed the Buddy Boss app. And here's the exciting thing about this Buddy Boss app. So let me just kind of open this one here, and this might be a little bit helpful. when we're talking about this is I'm going to go to my video pencil here. And the thing that's interesting about this for me as the owner of the site is if I think about it and I look at it and make sure I've got my stuff here. I'm going to just put a line down the middle. So I've got my desktop app over here, and I've got all of this great content for my desktop app. So I've got people have profiles. I have social groups and discussions. I've got courses or training or tutorials. I've got networking, so I've got messaging. And this is all on the desktop. And when I'm looking at that, I go, wow, that's great. I really got a news feed. You know, it's like my own private Facebook for pickleball fans. Anyone who's interested in pickleball. The thing is that it's on the desktop. So what that means is that if anyone is going to be networking, they're going to have to be at home, networking at home. They're not going to be playing pickleball. They're not going to be on the couch. They're not going to be at work. They're not going to be on a break. They're just not always going to be on your desktop. So what I've done is we've used the Buddy Boss app and the mobile app, and it's going to run on the phone or the iPad, of course. Okay, so this is completely mobile. And the part that is really exciting for me is these are equal. And what I mean by that is that anytime someone makes some kind of post, if they are on a desktop, it's automatically updated on the app. So I have the exact same stuff on the app. I've got profiles. I've got groups. I've got courses. And I've got messaging. So I have my own private Facebook now. Basically, my own private Facebook. I've got it directly on an app and in the desktop. So this is completely tied, synchronized together. Anything that happens in one place automatically happens in the other place, which is a really exciting thing, especially for me if I'm trying to build this, because the whole thing that's going to happen is I need to get as much traction as quickly as possible and get as many people as I can registered on the site. Registration is free. I'm giving away the registration. We're not going to be charging anything for people to join the site. The one thing, and maybe I'll talk about that today. First of all, see if there's any chats came in. I don't think so. So we'll kind of leave that one alone for right now. But the exciting thing that I think that it is working here is that I can get people to join, I think, in a much faster way and easier if I'm spending time with them on a mobile app as opposed to trying to get them to come to the desktop. So I'm going to focus all of the marketing that we're doing on the app and not on the desktop. But that doesn't mean they're exclusive. Whatever happens on one happens on the other. But in terms of marketing, we're going to look at this one. In terms of a community, we're going to look this one and focus on the app. So that's the first thing is, making sure that we have an app that represents exactly what we have on the desktop. And here's the thing that I kind of recognized as well. If I'm not going to charge people for joining this site, I got to find a way to earn some money with it, right? So here's one of the things that I did. When someone joins the Pickleball app or registers for the Pickleball app or installs it on their mobile device, they're going to have to fill in some kind of profile, right? It's about friends. You want to be able to connect with people. So I had to have a way so that there's a great profile. But as I started building this, I recognized that there is another type of profile that I need to include. And what that is the clubs, the associations, the tournaments, the other groups other than people I needed to have a way for the players or the friends to be able to search them and network with them. So that's the other thing that I kind of put in on the site, and it's also available on the desktop. And I will spend a little bit of time today, I think, showing you how I put that together because it is interesting and it involves ChatGPT, building out these profiles. I did a couple separate videos. I actually did a course done up on how to build the profiles and add them to the site and to the app. But I will spend a little bit of time today and go over how this actually, how I use ChatGPT to build out the profiles and in fact have them so that the profiles make sense in terms of monetizing. Because if I give away free profiles to the individuals, what I can do now is charge the groups, associations, clubs, any of the other large entities. I can charge them for either advertising to the friends and or publishing or posting to the friends directly in the app and also outside of the app. That's the other thing too that's in terms of BuddyBoss. I'll talk maybe a little bit about BuddyBoss first. BuddyBoss has a plugin for actually building an app. And up front, I'll tell you, I'm not a programmer. I'm not a developer. I'm certainly not an app developer. And the crew at BuddyBoss has done a great job at making it relatively painless to create your own app based on the BuddyBoss theme and the BuddyBoss platform on a WordPress site. And this is a service that we provide at trainingsites.io. We'll do it for you. We've gotten really good at it because we've done it more than once now. And the thing that's great about this is that if you don't have time or you don't want to do it, we have the back-end part done. And when I talk about the back-end part, I'm talking about creating stuff like Apple developers, buying into the Apple developer program, doing all of the behind-the-scenes stuff that has to happen before building the actual app. And the app, once you get that developer stuff kind of signed up, you're not learning how to develop it, you're just signing up as a developer. Once you've done that, BuddyBoss has done a great job basically allowing you to configure the tools that you want to show up in the app that are on the website. It's just a question of getting your menus together and some screens together and the components you want to show up on both. So BuddyBoss has done a great job with this, making it relatively easy. The building, all of the stuff you normally associate with a developer, BuddyBoss takes care of it. All you've got to do is say, this is the way I want it to look. And these are the components that are already on my website. These are the components that I want available in the app. And here are the menus that I want. And this is stuff that, that most people have done if they've been creating their own WordPress website. They're pretty familiar with that already. So there's no additional knowledge required in terms of setting up the app. It's done for you on the back end by BuddyBoss. So that's the part that's kind of interesting. Of course, there are some charges for it from BuddyBoss. We can maybe get into that at another time. But getting this thing all set up is really exciting because you get to have your app on the Play Store or in the App Store. So you are there and having your product, your service, your community, your membership in front of a large group of people who are consuming the content in the app away from the desktop. So let me make sure that... what have I got here? And of course, I didn't get logged in to the Pickleball Friends app. So maybe what I'll do is I'll show you on another site, just either that or I'll log in elsewhere here. Let me just go back and I'll go to a full shot of me so I can do some stuff in the background. And we'll do that. So while that's happening in the background, I'm just going to log into the site and make sure that... I don't want you to see my username and password. That's why I'm doing this in secret. So we'll make sure we're in the right place here. I'm going to log in and get myself set up, and I'll show you what's happening in the background. And again, if you want to see how this works or have this done for you, that's part of the service we provide at trainingsites.io. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, that's at teachonline.io. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Here to help. Do it yourself or done for you. They're all available. One other thing that's kind of happened in the background too, just so that you know, is when we were setting this up, when I was actually creating this originally, what I did is I set this up and make sure we're in the right display here. So what I did in the setting here was I had Pickleball Friends, but I had it with a Z.com. And as I was playing around with that, one of the things that I recognized was that it's going to be difficult for people to type in Pickleball Friends with a Z or just remember to do that. So the other thing that I did do in the background is I also registered mypickleballfriends.com, and that's what we're actually going to be using. It is the mypickleballfriends.com. And of course, the reason we're doing that is because I want it to be easier to remember, and it's a little more descriptive too, right? It's like my pickleball friends, so I know it's about me and connecting with other people. So that's kind of interesting. Done in the background, same site. I just changed the name and the URL, hopefully to make it a little bit easier for people to remember and make sure that they know what it's about. So what have I done in the background here? You can see the browser window. Still, you can see there's a couple pieces that are being worked on in the background. This isn't officially live yet. We've only got the test builds of the app out. But I'm going to show you the plugins that we're using in a stack of plugins. And again, these aren't the ones that you have to use. These are the ones that we are using on this site. And again, we have a whole set of a stack of plugins that we use depending on how you want to build your campus, how you want to build your membership site or community, how you're going to be selling courses and other products and services, the number of courses you're selling. There's all sorts of different ways to slice and dice this based on your business model. This is just a stack of tools that we have here on this one. And here's an example. We've actually got a plugin called the Buddy Boss app, which is, this is the paid app and / monthly service for taking care of all of the publishing and updating of your app. And you can see I've got a brand new build ready. I got to go and install that. I've got the Buddy Boss platform, which is the plugin that allows us to have groups, social groups, discussion forums, messaging. The Buddy Boss theme works with that to make it look great, but the platform is the part that adds all of the community portions of the site. We're using Elementor to do some of the pages and page builder, visual page builder. And we've got the Fluent stack on this one. And the Fluent stack is a stack of tools from, I think it's, I'm not sure the actual developer's name. There it is. Fluent CRM. Yeah, WP Managed Ninja Team is the actual developer there. So we've got the CRM for doing our email marketing automation, the support and forms, they're all set up here. And so that part is taking care of a lot of the marketing and details about who should be a member, who should get emails, follow-ups, all of that great stuff. LearnDash, of course, because we're going to be doing not courses, but we've called it training. So remember, LearnDash is an LMS, learning management software, but you don't have to call it courses. You can call it whatever you want. I think for our pickleball players, they're going to want to know some training and drills, not take courses. So we've changed the name on our setup to training. Rank Math, make sure we've got, this is an open site, so Rank Math, we want to make sure that we rank highly in Google and Bing and all of the other search engines, so that's available there. Podcasting, we have a regular podcast starting for that one, so that's available. The events calendar, another little story that's there, and WooCommerce is available here. So we've got all these tools here. The one that I'm going to show you is the Buddy Boss app. And this one's kind of cool. I really admire what they've done here. But just to give you an idea, these pages, push notifications, and in-app purchases are the keys to it. So the app pages are just that. Those are those pages that show up in your app. So all of the default Buddy Boss application on your desktop, those particular tools are now available in the app. So that's by default. And we get to edit those pages and say, hey, we want the groups to show up as one of the main pages in the app. I want the discussion forums. I want the activity feed or updates of what's going on. I want the list of members. I want those people to show up. So that is that part I'm talking about, where we have the desktop app with the components, the app with the components, everything's in sync, working together. Update one, you update the other. So that's by default, that's going to work. The other thing that's great here, now I want you to think about this, because email marketing is a big part of marketing your desktop app or your web hosting app with WordPress. Email marketing, you may do content marketing, you may do some paid advertising, but that ability to connect with people or update people in an outbound fashion is almost limited on the desktop to email marketing, at least when you want to do something that's somewhat automated, or more importantly, on a consistent basis. You've got to do some work and make sure that you have email campaigns or automation set up to send those messages. The one thing that the app allows us to do is do push notifications. And what that means is that we can have those different components text message directly to the mobile apps what's going on in the site. So if someone friends you in the My Pickleball Friends app, if someone friends you or requests a friend or updates something that you've subscribed to in a social group or a feed, or they've messaged you, you're going to get a notification on your phone that has happened. And if you look at that notification or view it or click on it, it's going to open the app on your desktop. It's not going to, or pardon me, the app on your phone. It's not going to bring you to the desktop version. You have the app installed. You've got those notifications, and they're directly in the app on your mobile device, which is really powerful. We've also got in-app purchases. Again, real special, because if, in our case, we are selling additional levels or access to different parts of the app and also the website, those purchases can be made directly in the app. You're not being brought in your small phone. You're not bringing back to the website to go and go to a shopping cart, add to cart. You can actually have those purchases directly in the app on your mobile device. Again, all set up and available to us there. So these are the components that are available to us as the app owner. I just basically got to go and edit the pages that I want to show up. And that's done up here. If we look in the branding and the menus, in the top menus here, I'll just take a look, and we'll take a look at menus, because this is the one that I'm playing with right now, and this is the ones that we're going to be adding. So if you look on the right hand side here, you can see we've started to play out. This is an Android version if I want to look at what an iPhone looks like. And you can see I have some icons in my More menu here. And these are the things that I'm adding to the default tab bar at the bottom here. I've got the activity feed, my groups, members, training, or in the More menu. So what can I do here? Well, first of all is I can go and switch the members around if I want that switched. And you'll notice at the bottom that I've now got a completely changed menu. I've changed it the way that I want on each of the different builds. And now it's changed here. Okay, so I can set up my menus, and the important one here is the More menu. And the More menu is just that ellipses that you see, and you're always checking to see, well, where's the rest of the app? It's in the More menu. And on this one, let's see if I don't even think we've got this set up yet. These are the test builds. I'm just taking a look, and what have I got here? The only thing I have is some community listings, which I'll get to in a second. But if I wanted to go and say, look, here's my blog. If I wanted to add some additional messages, my profile, my photos, my docs, my discussions, I can put them all in there. The other thing I can do is add sections, for example. So if I want to add a section, I can go and say, you know what? I'm going to say my profile. And on this one, I'm going to go and say, you know what? what are some app pages? Core app, sorry, I'm going to go add to menu. And I'm going to go and say, you know what? Blog doesn't belong there. I'm going to put that one at the top, but I want to have messages. I want to have my profile that I can go and look at. I want my photos. I don't want documents. I thought about that. I don't want documents. So I'm just going to remove that one. And on any of these, you can see now that I can set my own icon up for it. I can make sure that it opens in the app on the person's phone or on the desktop. I'm in control of that, but I can now go and be in control. In this case, we're working on the Android version, and I now have all of the information that I want to have from my website show up on my phone in the app. And there's a whole bunch of other choices here, which is really exciting. Any WordPress pages I want to put in, I can. I can do it different for logged in members or unregistered members. In my case, we're requiring everyone to register. If they want to download the app, they've got to create a user when they get installed. But if you have free version, it's there. Settings, custom links, sections, they're all available here in the structure. So I got a real great opportunity to get involved in this whole mobile app part from the work that I've already done on the desktop. And you'll notice too, we've got some colors and some text here on the bottom. There is a whole bunch of branding to do, which we're just finishing up. And the branding is adding the things like the logos, login screens as an example, our icons. All of these things are launch screen, for example, where we can see what happens during a launch. So we're starting to build out, and again, this is stuff you can do if you've used WordPress before or Element or any of the page builders. This is stuff you already know how to do. Again, we can do it for you at trainingsites.io, or you can go and become purchase the the Buddy Boss app and do it yourself. So really, really cool stuff happening. I'm hoping we're done here by the end of the week. We do have test builds available now. So this is what we're doing right now is we've actually got versions on our phone. Let me see if I go and open one up here. Yeah, so just an example. Let me see if I can hold this up in front of you. So next time I'll try and put this as its own screen, but you can see we've got the mobile app installed. I'm looking at all the members pages. I'll be able to go and look at different groups, for example, discussion forums. I think you can see that one there. So this is all stuff directly on the website, directly in the app, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's the background news that's been playing around before. There we go. Martin in the background making shifts happen. The app is great. Yeah, so if there are any questions about this, let me know. I'm really excited about what's happening with this. And, we're using my Pickleball friends as a community app. It doesn't have to be for a community app. If you are selling courses, for example, you can have people consume the courses directly here on the smartphone. It doesn't have to be on the desktop. The same content that is on your desktop app shows up in the mobile app. And we've even got the setting here as well that if you are including videos in your courses, you can actually have them downloaded and available to people who have your app who are even offline. So a lot of flexibility there and a real great opportunity to take advantage of being mobile all of the time. Are there any questions here, comments? Put them in below. There's a whole bunch of kind of other stuff happening in the background. I don't know how long I've been talking. 30 minutes. Man, I just get excited about this stuff and I start ranting. If you are interested in this, let me know. And I can tell you some of the options that are available to you and how to get started. It is an exciting time for people who are in the education business because unfortunately or fortunately, people spend a lot of time on their phones and mobile devices. And with that flexibility, being available both in the desktop or on the mobile app, it gives us a great opportunity to connect with people, not only for community, but also for the consumption of our education content. Really, really great things that are happening there. And you think of it as your private Facebook, right? All of the things that you find in Facebook, pardon me, whether it be groups or discussions or messaging or friending or checking profiles, all of that stuff is available for you in your unique situation or your unique setup. Okay, I am going to share one other thing with you, and I talked about it at the start, and I did some other videos up for this one, but I wanted to show it to you because it's really, really important. And here's what I'm talking about. When someone goes to sign up for a community site, what they have to do is, I want to see if we can do it. I'm going to do it. Let's see if I can do it as a incognito. Let's do an incognito window and see if I can get that one to show up. Okay. So if, for example, I am a brand new user to the site, and what I want to do is I want to go register for the site. And I go to my Pickleball friends, or in fact, I go to the App Store or the Play Store and I download the app. In this case, I'm being brought to the feed, but if I want it, like this is just test site, so bear with me here. It's not technically public yet. But if I sign up, I want to join, in this case, you know, I'm excited about pickleball. I want to play pickleball. But I need to have a profile so other pickleball people know whereabouts am I located? What is my level of play? You know, what are the what kind of courts? Do I like playing doubles or singles? Am I involved in tournaments? There's a whole bunch of information about each other that you want to have available, right? So we've got this set up right now where it's got some default profile fields. Like we got to know an email address and a password. And I'm asking, saying, hey, we got to have a first name and last name. And I want you to pick a nickname. And the nickname is the name that shows up on the site. And if you want to have a nickname or pick one, you can certainly go and pick one and have your nickname show up instead of your email address or instead of your first name and last name. And of course, social media profiles, which are optional. So if you want people to know that you have a LinkedIn profile or a Twitter handle or an Instagram handle, you can have those and add those. But someone's got to fill these in, right? So if I'm going to fill these particular fields in, and I'll go back to the other screen, I as the site owner, I want to make sure I have a robust, good profile, and I have it set up so that it makes sense for another user to find out about me so that we can be pickleball friends, right? So let me just close this for a second and I'll show you where this comes from and how it gets set up. So I'm going to go look at my profile. I'm logged in as the administrator here on this site, and on my right hand side, or I'm actually logged in as Annalisa here, one of the staff. So I'm going to go and look at my profile on the right hand side because I'm logged in. And I'll see my personal profile. Or the other place I can do this is right on my avatar. You can see my mouse moving, hopefully. The avatar there, that's the one. If I do a left mouse click, I can see my profile, timeline, all of the same stuff that is normally available here. So I'm going to go to my profile. I just want to view it. So I'll take a look at my profile and I'm going to go. If I didn't know who Annalisa was, I'd go, oh, wait, I only have their first name, their last name, and their nickname. I don't have any other information. That's not very helpful, is it? So let's create a profile or round out a profile that would allow me to search for people. And how does that get added? Well, the great thing is when I go to the dashboard as the administrator, BuddyBoss and the BuddyBoss app, and the BuddyBoss whole platform, what it does is it gives me the opportunity to create my own profiles. So these are the profiles that I put together. There's the details one here. You can see my mouse moving. These are the detail ones. These are the default ones I talked about, right? First name, last name, nickname. You got to put those in. And these are where my social networks are. So I put this one in because when I add them on this details at sign up, these fields are always available at sign up. you have the option to fill them in at sign up, or you can add them later other than these required ones. So the optional ones, social networks, I just put them in because a lot of times people will put 1 or 2 social networks in when they sign up. Okay, but across the top here, you'll see I have a personal tab, pickleball preferences, and community engagement. And those are the categories that I came up with. If I was searching for people, I want to know a little bit more personal information. I want to know about their pickleball preferences. What is it about pickleball they like and all of the great stuff there. And then community engagement. How are they involved in the community? So I created 3 categories to do that. So I've got 3 categories here. And what I've done is I've added specific fields, or I'm adding specific fields in each of these categories. So I did one here just as an example, is a fitness level. I want to have some idea if I'm looking for someone else who's a similar fitness level. I don't want to, find someone and find out that they're a pro and I'm a beginner. That's not a great person to want to be able to play the sport with. However, it might be someone that you want to learn from, right? So fitness level was one of the fields that we came up, and I'll show you where these are coming from in a second. But these fields are all personal fields. The next one I did as an example was the pickleball preferences. If I'm playing pickleball, personally they have a fitness level, but I'm looking at pickleball preferences, what's their playing level? And in this case, I took a look and I said, you know what? I want people to select from a drop-down list. So the question was, what is your level of play? And then I gave them 3 or 4 options: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and pro. So as I'm rounding out my profile, I can select one of these. And when other members want to find out who are some other advanced players or who are some other beginner players, I'll be able to search and sort by them. So that's an example of what we did with the pickleball preferences. And a couple that I put in here just as an example for pickleball preferences and just showing you this is preferred playing time. If I'm looking for a partner to play pickleball with, do they prefer to play in the mornings, or do they play on the weekends only? Or is it after supper? Where do they, or when do they like to play the sport? Is it all of them, or is it just one of them or 2 of them? So we set this one up, for example, for preferred playing time. When do you like to play? And then we had a multi-select. So mornings, afternoons, evenings, and weekends. This gives the person creating their profile, it gives them the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I like these 2 times or these 3 times and not this one. So I can pick multiples at the time when I'm looking at my profile, and my profile will indicate that. I got 3 different times of the day that I like to play during the week. I don't have time on the weekends. Okay, so that was one that was kind of neat for pickleball preferences. And then community engagement was one that I put together. And on this one, you can see that we just started to do it, but this one is what they're looking for in a partner, club, or event. So this is actually a paragraph text. And what this allows me to do is, if I have some comments or anything I want to say about the playing partner, the club, or the event, this is what I'm looking for on the site and to play pickleball with. This is what I want to put. This one has a paragraph text to be able to allow people to put it in. So these are the different categories that we built out. And these are the ones that we're starting to build out. Now the question was, well, how did I decide on those categories and where did those fields come from? And that is a really good question, and one that I'll share with you right now. And I'm going to pull it over from another screen. And again, if there's any questions or comments, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get those going. So let's open up, there's one. Let's see if I can bring this over and you see it. Okay. And here is my trusty ChatGPT prompt. And I'm going to show you something that's kind of interesting here. Hopefully it'll come in. There we go. So what I did on this one is I said, you know what? I don't know all of the different questions for a profile that I should have for pickleball. I have questions that I would want, but are these questions that, other people would have and or need to make great selections. So this is what I did to help me out. I asked ChatGPT to basically build out the profiles, and that's what we're adding right now. So I'm scrolling up and down through these, and I'll just show you the prompt that I use and what I got back, and then how this kind of works, which is great. And how you can use this too to really, really break it down for you and help you out. So, okay, so here's what I did. I said to ChatGPT, I said, okay, creating a detailed and effective profile is essential for making meaningful connections on a social media application. So this is how I structured it, give it a little bit of context. And I said, for a site dedicated to pickleball players, you would want to include fields that capture relevant information about their playing habits, preferences, and experiences, right? And I said, I'm looking for networking and finding like-minded friends, detailed and realistic profile that a user has filled out. And I said, give me 25 fields. So what it did is it, here's 25 fields. And it gave me some really great fields to start with. You know, preferred playing time, years they've been playing, what their level is, location or city, you know, training goals, when they're available. And I was going, man, those are really good ones, but is that all that I really need? And it's pretty hard to get someone to fill out this 25 fields, right? So what could I do at this point? Well, I wanted to make sure I had some good ones, so I said, add 25 additional ones. So I've got 50 fields to get working with. So I went through those, picked out the ones that were important, and I was going, you know what? I really should have 3 categories, not just one category. So I said, using the 50 fields you generated, separate them into 3 unique categories. So what it did is, you can see I've got my personal information here, my pickleball skills and preferences, and my social and community engagement. And I thought those were great. So those are the different categories that I used, right? And you can see that we've got pickleball preferences. We've got some really great ones there. Playing level, years playing, tournament experience, paddle brand and type, favorite professional player, skills ratings, you know, style of play, you know, favorite tip and trick. So I was going, wow, those are great. Now, what should I have in the actual fields, right? I got some profile tips here, but what do I need to have in the fields? They're in categories. I've got a description of where they are. Now I said, create a detailed table that displays the full list of fields separated by category. Include the detailed description in its own column. So personal information were the first ones here. I had the field name and I had a description of what the field was for. Preferences and skills, and then down to community and social engagement. So I've got a really good profile mapped out here. We're in good shape. Okay. I'm frozen. Okay, I shouldn't be. My head's frozen? No, I should be okay here. One of the comments I just got in the chat was I'm frozen. I'm watching on my other screen. I seem to be moving, so maybe I was frozen. Hopefully I'm unfrozen at this point. Yeah, so I had them in a nice table, working on those ones, and I was thinking, you know what? I better figure out what I should have for options in the profile. And the BuddyBoss platform, also the app, everything that works together here for these profiles was I can have different types of fields. And some examples are a single line of text, which I showed you one earlier. I also had one which was a multi-select, which is a drop-down list that had, hey, here's a whole bunch of choices. Pick multiple, one or multiple of these, and you can select multiple at a time. So that was a type of field. I had another one that can be like a check mark, right? It's like a yes or no, true or false kind of one where you can have a check mark, or a drop down where it's a single select. They only have to pick one or the other. So a whole bunch of different fields. There was descriptive paragraphs, uploads, drop downs. There's 7 or 8 available to us. But I was looking at all of those different fields I had, and I said, I better figure out what type of field should I use for that. What type of field or way to enter should I use for that field? But on top of it, what should I make of some of the choices? So I asked ChatGPT, I said, filling in the open fields during the sign-up process on a mobile app needs to be simple, right? And so I said, regenerate the table, this time adding 2 additional columns. The first column will be suited for the form type. And I gave it some examples: single line, drop down, checkbox, multi-select, and descriptive paragraph. Those are the ones that I wanted to focus on. And I said the next column should include the possible drop down checkbox and so on. So what it did is it gave me some great examples, right? Remember I had the one about, personal information, fitness level, low, medium, moderate, or high, a drop down. So now I have the field description, what type of field it should be, and the options that I would make available. Pickleball skills and preferences, playing level, drop down, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Here's the one about the skills: multi-select, mornings, afternoons, evenings, and weekends. So this is how I'm using ChatGPT to build out the profiles that my Pickleball Friends uses on the desktop app, but also in now the mobile app. So we've got a complete package here put together that's going to put us in a position where hopefully, and again, hopefully, I'm going to market the heck out of this side project we're working on. I'm going to market the heck out of the app, and see if we can get lots of people on our app and this platform who are pickleball fans. And again, the reason that I did this was pickleball is the fastest growing sport in North America right now. It initially, if I'm not mistaken, it initially came about as a result of people who were not younger, not able to play tennis necessarily, or some of the other racket sports that were a little more physically intensive. But it came about as a result of combining some of those. So there is a unique demographic that pickleball players tend to be, or they started off being. It's not necessarily the case anymore, which is a whole other story. But I have a personal interest in it, and I have a business opportunity interest in it. And I'm using the tool BuddyBoss, the BuddyBoss app, the BuddyBoss platform, and WordPress to package out an opportunity to monetize it. So that's kind of where this profile came from. I'll show you one other thing today, just because I got a couple minutes. Again, if there's any questions, add them in the comments or the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. But here's the interesting one, and this is what I'm talking about with monetization. I was looking at the profiles, and I was looking at it from the perspective of, okay, I'm a pickleball player. I want to find out or network with other pickleball friends or other pickleball players. The question becomes, if I am a pickleball fanatic and I'm on an app like this, or I'm in the desktop, I also am looking for consistently other resources that would be available to me that relate to pickleball. And if I didn't do this on the app or in the desktop, what would happen is someone may message someone or look at someone else's profile, but then they would leave the app or they would leave the site because those other pieces weren't there. Now, I didn't show you the training portion on these or the groups and stuff, but I was thinking outside of what kind of resources do people really need or want to be involved with that I could put in here and could have profiles for. So this is what I did, is I thought, okay, what are some of these resources? So I looked at a whole bunch of other pickleball apps. I went and researched all of the different sites that are available, and there's some stuff that came out that was pretty obvious on what other people in the market were doing, other than creating networking sites for pickleball players, which I couldn't find. And the big one was people were selling products. They were selling racket sports, all sorts of stuff in terms of physical equipment to play pickleball. The other thing that was available in a lot of cases was places to play. So where are some courts that I can play? Or is there a local club or association I can become part of? And that was a particular area. But I was thinking, I really should have a way for people to search for these other resources. So what I did is I went and asked again, right? I did all this research and I said, there it is, multiple entries. Won't talk about that one. This is the other piece. So here's the one. Where's the one? I just want to do this one here. There's one a little bit down in my research here that was kind of interesting, and this is what it is. Okay. So I said we've added another type of profile to the site. So I have individual profiles, right? This profile is not for individuals, rather for pickleball clubs, association, tournaments, etc. What other category or type of listing would be helpful to avid pickleball fans and players? So these are the ones that it came up with. Coaches, trainers. So I should have a profile for coaches and trainers, people who are experts, who are professionals that I can learn from, right? Are they local? Are they away? Whatever. Equipment and gear profiles. So if I have a vendor who's selling particular paddles, or if a manufacturer wants to have a listing of their stores or their website, it'd be great to have profiles. So if people go, you're talking to someone on the site and they say, hey, you know what? I really use or like this product or this particular, paddle or whatever it happens to be. They can go to the profile on the site and then use or access it from the site. Facility, court profiles, health and fitness professional profiles. There's a lot of people who are really interested in the whole issue of health, being healthy, playing the sport, and more importantly, overcoming any injuries that happen, any kind of training or support for any of the health issues that show up with this. Camps and workshops. A lot of people are going to actual workshops. Think of it as a summer camp for pickleball players. So if you're hosting that, it'd be a great thing to have a profile. Local business profiles. And this is the one I didn't really think about or know about, was that there's a huge market for people having holidays around pickleball, going to play somewhere, and travel and tourism. Again, nutrition and wellness, another one that keep on coming up all the time. So these were ones that came up for clubs and associations. Tournaments was another one. So these all came up as profiles. So what we did on this one is I actually added in the site, and I'll show you that one quickly, is I also added, I don't want to look on that one because I'm not there. Let's go to this one here. So I'm also going to go here. We'll take a look at the profiles, and what I did on this one is I actually created another kind of profile, and I called it clubs. And this was with a plugin, the inexpensive plugin that goes alongside or with Buddy Boss, works with it. And we're going to do clubs, and I'm going to show you it's exactly the same profile, but it is specifically for, in this case, a club. And if I go and view my profile for a club, it has, in my case, about any media I may have, whether it's videos or pictures, reviews. I can follow it and message it here directly on the site. And I can also do things like, go to the open hours. What are the business hours? What are my links? That kind of stuff. So I now have a separate profile for clubs. And I don't have up here a menu for it yet. That's the other piece we're working on. And I'm going to actually change it from clubs, and here's why. When I went back and I thought it was only for clubs and associations at the start, that's when I named it club. I was going and I did that stuff on ChatGPT. I went, oh, wait a second, there's a lot more than just clubs that I should be giving the right to have these profiles. And this is the interesting thing for me, because now we're going to be able to monetize, or I'm in a position where I can say, hey, if you want to add your name as a club or an association to the site, we've got 10,000 users. If you want access to those 10,000 raving pickleball fans, you can put your profile in, but it's going to cost you. So that's one of the ways to monetize the site. So this is here, but I went, you know what? I better have some better categories for clubs. So even though I've called it clubs, I haven't decided what I'm going to name it yet, but I've got categories now. And here's what we came up with: associations, clubs, equipment, league play, technology, tournaments. And then what are the ones that I'm going to be adding? Think it through. Workshops, health and fitness, courts and facilities, coaches and trainers. These ones, travel and tourism, these are the ones that are going to end up being the profiles here. So we're going to have this complete resource available for all of these fans who want to go and find out about travel and tourism and diet and nutrition and coaches and profiles. And that's how we're going to put this one all together. And again, the great thing, of course, is it's on the website, it's in the mobile app. They're all connected, live in real time. Everything is put together. So that's what's happening on my pickleball project. We're almost there. As I mentioned before, I do have the test apps running on our test devices here. It's running on iPad, it's running on Android, it's running on any of the iPhones. You'll be able to download it probably by the end of the week or the beginning of next week and be able to play around with it, put your profile details in, find out some of the other resources, share what's going on, and network with other fanatics. And the great thing is if you're building out a site, if anyone's watching and they're going, man, I want to build out a site, this is exactly what you can do on your campus, your learning site. The idea is to get what you want working first. If you're in a business situation, I would think focus on the website first, then add the mobile app. In my case, the majority of my customers in this project are not on a desktop, they're on a mobile phone. So we worked it a little bit backwards, the other way around. And that was kind of the thing that dawned on me doing the research, talking to other people who are fans. Is like they're not in front of their desktop all the time. They're on the mobile device. So that's why we've got it reversed this time. But at the end of the day, using both is the best way to get in front of all of the customers and clients that you want to serve. And again, it has to be about numbers, right? You got to think about, how am I going to monetize this? If I have 100,000 people that may download the app, that's different than having 100 customers who are paying members of a small membership site, or 1,000 members who are members of a membership site who are coming to take courses. So what's the purpose of the site, the community, the campus, the courses? What's the purpose of it? Who am I going to be helping, or who am I trying to target, and how are they going to consume all of this? So hopefully this helps, gets you a little bit excited about what's going on here. I'm pumped about this, obviously. I think it's going to be a real exciting way to get involved in this whole community and in this market. This project has been a labor of love for me. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If you have any questions, feedback, you want to see it, make sure to ask me. I'm always available to basically chat about building out your community and membership site. This is stuff I absolutely love. If you're using WordPress, have questions, ask away. I'll be here. So I'm going to end things off today. We'll see you again next week. And if you haven't already, make sure to visit teachonline.io. Register for a free membership, the site there. As a free member, that's where we're playing around building out another kind of campus for ourselves. If you want any of this done for you, it's trainingsites.io. That's our agency side. And basically, it can be hands off. We'll take care of everything for you. So take care, expect the best, and we'll be back again